All right, what's up, people? This is going to be my final in the trilogy of Buddhism 901. Essentially, dealing with the ultimate teaching of Buddhism. And for this, I'm going to refer to a book that is called this. You can see it. And specifically, a Tantra therein. Now, if you don't have this particular book, if you do not have this particular book, that's all right. As long as you have postmodern Satanism, you have this Tantra. I embedded this Tantra in postmodern Satanism. Now you're like, what is a Tantra? A Tantra is basically like, I don't know how to think of it, like a holy text, a philosophical text. Think of it however you want. But this is the greatest one. It's called Semsnid. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is, and I'm going to focus literally on a couple of parts here. See, what you see here is what Longchenpa is trying to do is he's basically going to be going through all of the viewpoints, and he's going to dismiss them. So like he says right here, in the rootless mind, pure from the beginning, there is nothing to do and no one to do it. That's the verse I really want to focus on, because I think all of Buddhist teaching is contained right there. In the rootless mind, pure from the beginning, there is nothing to do and no one to do it. And then he goes on to say, well, he goes on to write an entire Tantra. The intrinsic awareness of aimless phenomena, in which deliberate apprehensions such as this is it has dissolved. See, what he's talking about is categorization. The idea that we categorize the world. If I say this is a table, if I say that is a chair, then automatically what I'm doing is I'm reifying something. I'm giving something an existence that it probably doesn't have. Because emptiness essence is all there is. Now what he's going to do is, if you actually go through this, he's going to go through again. Sorry. He's going to go through again, and he's going to show you. He's going to show you. He's going to say, there is nothing to know and no one to know it. Right? So here's what I'm going to do. The absolute mind is beautiful in its natural state. By various means, unwavering contemplation, analytic wisdom, and precepts, intellectual knowledge and instructions, one will only gain theoretical understanding, but one will never achieve the naked primordial wisdom. For example, even if one indicates by pointing, saying, this is space, it is not an object that can be seen. So it is merely a way of differentiating. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about, and this is why I included this Tantra in postmodern Satanism, because it is the ultimate of ultimate Tantras. And it teaches the ultimate of ultimate truths, which is that when you get down to the fundamental level of it, and that's why that one verse in that Tantra speaks so loudly to me, and they all do. You should read the whole thing. Just buy a copy, Postmodern Satanism, boom, you're set. I'm sure you can find, it's a Semsnid Rengrol. That's the name of the Tantra. It's all Tibetan and shit. I mean, it's a pity that we don't have, well, we do have Western thinkers that espouse on these things, but sometimes they like to get lost in like the lower levels, the white belt levels of, you know, the Four Noble Truths and, you know, the Eightfold Path and all that bullshit. What it ultimately boils down to is there is nothing to do and no one to do it, meaning that it's already done. This world that we exist in, that we think, and this is why when Sam Harris comes out and he says, free will does not exist, he's correct. Free will does not really exist. You think it does. It's a convenient illusion. I know it sucks to admit free will does not exist. It doesn't. Because at the deepest levels, everything's already done. We're just participants in it. Does that mean you should just sit down in your room and not do anything for the rest of your life? Fuck no, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. Buddhism is not a nihilist religion. As a matter of fact, it's not a religion at all. It's a philosophy, and it counters nihilism by understanding this very fact that we are participants in something that is non-dual, that neither exists nor does not exist. That is the question, right? That's the ultimate answer that Buddhism gives. It's all emptiness essence. We're all here. It's not even we. We is a fiction. Every little category that we put upon something by saying this is this or that is that, these are all fictions. You're like, well, they're convenient fictions. If you think that cliff over there is a fiction, why don't you just jump off of it? Well, because my fictional self would probably be dead. You get what I'm saying? So we're all within, and this is where you take the Maya as a concept and you flip it. And this is when you realize that there is nothing to do and no one to do it. Meaning that Buddhism is, once you get to the highest belt levels, and this is the secret, is an effortless path. Because there really is, you can't earn salvation because there is no salvation. And there is no you to earn it. There is only suchness. That's all there is. And this is what's known as Semsnid, the nature of mind. We're all a part of that because we're all divine by nature. It's just we're fragmented. And because we became fragmented a long time ago, when what's called the vase body, that's what it's called in the teachings. It doesn't matter what they call it. The idea is basically, it's kind of Gnostic in a sense, but it's basically like something got broken, in a sense, atemporally, to where the only way that there are things like you and me and these nouns and pronouns that we use to refer to each other, or names that we refer to each other by, or identities, or bodies. That's why body is such an important concept within Buddhism. The only way those things exist is because consciousness itself had to fragment that way in order for it to experience this level of reality. It's like a program designed to experience reality by consciousness itself. Once you get that, you've reached the highest level. There are no more levels. And then you're still in the level you're at. And in Buddhism, they're very specific about those levels. You got the God level, you've got the human level, or no, you've got the God level, then the demon level, then the human level, then the animal level, etc., etc. But the idea is basically that every being, every sentient being, interprets the reality that they have, but none of them depart from Dharmakaya. I think that was my 303 video. Once you watch all these videos together, once you really investigate Tantra, or, I got the best one in postmodern Satanism, like I said, you're going to get it. But once you get it, you're going to be left a little bit weird in your mind. Because, like I said, the ultimate teaching is there is nothing to do and no one to do it. So, like, I'm robbing you right now of the two avenues that you have. You're like, well, what do I need to do? Nothing. I don't have to do anything. But what about me? You're a construct as well. So, there it is. The final teaching.